welcome to Shivy Speaks. So, guys, I really hope that your holidays have been going really well. You've enjoyed your Christmas and eaten loads and just had so much fun, even drunk loads, and all the kiddies receiving so many presents. My kids really did enjoy themselves. I mean, the smiles on their faces when they opened presents, and they were spoiled rotten this year, so it was really nice to watch. So today, I don't know, I just want to talk about anything. It's really late, I'm so tired from cooking, and we had so much meat. I mean, we had so much meat that it was just like so much meat that I didn't really want to eat it. But I've got enough meat to last me till February, for crying out loud, you know. But I'm grateful, and I thank God that, you know, food was provided and so forth. I just wanted to talk about anything and everything, you know. It's been a really mad year. It's been a hard year. It's been a hard year for me in many ways. It's just been, there's just a lot of things, like my eyelashes are falling off. It's just been like, literally like so many happenings, and I've learned so much about myself, and it's just been a hard year for me. And I know it's been a hard year for many. You know, I know I was meant to talk about this. So I was diagnosed with cancer in 2017. So I'm going to just tell you the story as it happened, and kind of like, I wanted it to be a little bit more glam than this, but hey, I'm just going to talk about it. So I just came out of, well, I didn't just come out, it was 2 years after a relationship that I had with my kid's father. And it was a very stressful sort of like time for me, because, you know, I'll talk about this on a different day, but it was a really hard breakup. And it was like 2 years later, and I was kind of like getting myself back and getting that sort of like happiness back. And he basically I was ready to get back into the sort of like the dating game, and I was meant to be going on this date with my friends, so I was like really excited about it, and I had my outfit planned and everything. And I'm filming, please. Kids, close my door, please. Thank you. Yeah, so I planned my outfit and everything, and it was funny because I was going to meet this guy because he was coming up from quite far, and so we were going to meet in this bar. And my friend said, you know what, like, because it wasn't confirmed, because I think he was coming that day, and the plan was that we were going to be together and that he would meet me at this bar. But the problem was that it wasn't confirmed. So anyway, so my friend said, why don't you come out with us? We'll meet you in the bar, and we'll wait with you while he comes. So I said, that's perfect. So I waited and waited, and I mean, I was having fun with my friend, and she had just met this guy from Tinder. We'll definitely go into Tinder on another day as well. We definitely have to cover Tinder. But yeah, so she had her Tinder date. And he seemed like a really nice guy, well travelled and so forth. So yeah, and he was a proper gentleman, because he was buying us drinks and that. So he was such a lovely guy. So it got later and later, and then my date was like, I'm not coming. I was fine about it because I had a good time, and I wasn't far from where I lived. So I then went home, and that night I got sick, and I thought maybe it was because we had some food in that bar. So I thought maybe it was because you know, maybe it was just some dodgy food from the bar. So yeah, So I got sick, and then I thought nothing of it, you know, because it happens from time to time. You do get sick. So I was went to bed like any other night, and I was lying down, woke up, and then at that time I smoked. So I went to the garden, woke up in the morning, and I was like, yeah, I feel like a cigarette. Went and had a cigarette. As I was walking through my door, I basically, literally felt something grow in my chest, on the left side of my chest. And I was like, wow, that's weird. So I felt it, and then I was like, is that a lump? Why have I got a lump? So I was like, that's not right. And it was like about that size. See that? It was about that size. And I thought that was really random. So I was like, as soon as like, because this was like Sunday morning. So I thought, you know what, I'm definitely going for an emergency appointment at my GP's on Monday, because I'm not sure about this lump. When in doubt, I've always been told to check it out. So went to the GP, got an emergency appointment, and I really did not think it was anything. I just thought, you know, just a little cyst or something. So I went there, and I saw my doctor, and I was like, literally, I have a lump in my breast and I don't know what it is. So he said, okay, let's check it out. So he got me to go and sit on the little couch thing, and I sat there, and then he told me to put my arms up like that. So I did, and then he had a feel around, and he was like, oh, wow. He goes, that's quite big. And then I was like, yeah. And I go, it only happened on Sunday morning. And he was like, really? And I was like, trust me, it happened. I felt it grow. And it happened on Sunday morning. And he goes, that's very quick, like quite big as well, in the length of time that it has been. He said, it's probably nothing, but what I'll do is I'll send you to the hospital, and like with the breast team, and then they'll tell you what to do next. So I said, okay, great. So what I did was I went into the hospital. Thanks, babe. Sorry, my phone. Close the door, babe. So I went into the hospital, and I saw a consultant. So I waited in the waiting room. I didn't actually think anything of it, you know. I never freak out about things until I know, like, for sure that's the case. So I literally was sitting in the waiting room, and my name got called. And actually, it wasn't, I went to go and see a woman that deals with a mammogram at first. So I had the mammogram, and she was a right old, like, she's a nice woman, but she seemed like she wouldn't smile. Like, if I smiled at her, like, it wouldn't be reciprocated by her. Do you know what I mean? She was very, like, very uniformed is the word. So I went in there, and she put my my breast inside, and at the time, my boobs were tiny, like literally like a C. So she put it in this screen thing, and I'm like, literally, and she keeps pulling me like this to get into this, and then she closes it like that and clamps it and tighter and tighter, and I was like, she's not gonna go anymore, and she squeezed, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I've never had this done before, and I'm just like, literally, oh my god, how painful it was. And the more, she just kept on going and going, and I thought, this is never ending. So then so she done what she had to do. She took her x-rays or pictures or whatever, and I remember looking at her face, and I knew something wasn't right just from looking at her face. So I said, is everything okay? And she goes, well, you know, I'm gonna have to give the information to your doctor. So I said, oh great, so this is a waiting game. So I waited, and it came back and it said that there's an abnormality, and that I would need to come back to have a biopsy. So I met up with the breast consultant, and he basically, I was again waiting in the waiting room. I didn't really think again too much of it. I do remember obviously the woman looking at me in a way and me thinking there's something wrong. So I got called in, and my consultant put me to sit down, and he was like, yeah, take your top off and all that. And to be fair, I mean, I know they're doctors and so forth. I didn't have a problem like with showing my boob or whatever, but it was just a bit like, you know. So anyway, I did take it off, and then he was just like having a feel and everything. And then he goes, how long's that been there? And I said, well, it was, at that time it had been 2 weeks. So I was like, yeah, it's been there for 2 weeks. I literally felt the thing grow. And he goes, it's probably a cyst, but we need to do a biopsy. And I go, okay, what does that consist of? And he was like, yeah, it's when they just put a needle. And he goes, usually when they put the needle in, he goes, it usually pops. So I said, okay, this is good. I'm going to fall into that bracket. So I went in to have this biopsy. There was a lovely man there with an assistant. I went and lied on the bed, and then it's like he told me the procedure. I was like, really? You're going to put a needle in the side, basically in the side of my chest, right through there to get to the lump? I was like, I hate needles. Like, I absolutely hate needles. So it was just like, I was like, I don't want this, but I knew I had to do it. So I lied there, and he was like, put your hands up like that. And it's such a vulnerable area. It's like, I can't even like tense it or anything. It's just so vulnerable. And he literally, I think he had to make an incision first, because the needle's quite thick. So he had to make an incision. For the life of me. I mean, the nurse was absolutely lovely. She was so like supportive, you know. But yeah, I tried to be as brave as I could. So he made the incision, put the needle in, and he had to take a few like biopsies of this lump that was there. So he did, and then I went to go and see my consultant again. And then he said, right, so we just need to wait for the biopsy, and then we can obviously work out what's actually going on. So I said, okay, great. So it was all a waiting game, really. So this happened in like November 2017. So I got a letter back, and it basically was saying that I needed to go in to have this meeting, and I knew like this must be something. So at this time, my mum and my sisters were going away, and my best friend came down from East London with me to this appointment, and I'll never forget that day. I don't think I'll ever forget this. So we were waiting in the waiting room, and I was scared, and she said to me, my friend's very stern in terms of like, you know, don't freak out until you know what's going on. So because this is the first time, I'm usually quite I do worry, but I'm not someone like, I would have my you know, I'd have my stuff, like my information, before I start worrying. So we went in, and I remember the consultant was like, it's a form of cancer, a low grade. He said it's a low grade form of cancer. And I think at that stage I just was numb for a minute. It was like the world kind of like was like going around me like this, you know. It was like I didn't I could hear what he was saying, but I couldn't, if you know what I mean. So I was just like, I didn't say anything, but my friend was like, okay, so what's the plan? What's next? So he then said, at this stage, he goes, where the cancer is, which is, it was like literally behind my nipple. He goes, we would have to remove the breast. I was like, wow. Now, like every girl, I have got vanity. I am vain, but my life, I have children. I have 2 beautiful children. I have everything to live for, you know. They're my world. So, vanity or my life? I choose my life. So, I mean, I chose to have no sort of like feelings towards that when I heard it. I was more afraid of the procedure rather than I'm losing my boob. So this consultant that I was dealing with, he was like, look, we'll remove it. Take a year for the skin to heal. And then he goes, you can either have trap surgery, which is a 9-hour procedure, and then they take skin from somewhere else on your body, and then they they build it from that and then make a like reconstruction, or you can have a silicone put in. So I obviously listened to what he said, and I said, okay, that's fine. I'll do the whole year, wait for the skin to heal, do the whole procedure. It was hard. It was like one of the hardest things, because it's hard, like for me, because I'm someone, it's really hot. I'm someone that when it comes to things like and to do with medical kind of things, I can be quite nervous, you know, like as soon as I have something wrong, I run straight to the doctors. Like I don't wait around to like wait for, you know, like some people, they kind of like you know, something can happen and then they kind of like they don't go to the doctors, they just let it get worse. I'm not that kind of person. I go straight away. So like for me, it was so hard, and so many things I didn't understand was going through my head, and I felt so alone. I felt like this, I know I have family, I have a great family, I have a great supportive network, but I felt so alone. And I felt like I didn't want to be treated like the sick girl. So not many people, I didn't really go out and tell loads of people, oh yeah, this has happened to me, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people didn't know. And yeah, it was just so hard to take in. And I started to, I mean, I was given by the doctors so many different leaflets and so forth. So this started off as primary cancer. I was given so many leaflets about the procedure that was going to be done. And then I was like, is this going to spread to the, you know, to my consultant? He was like, no, it'll be fine. He goes, we'll do the operation. I think it was November, and then I had the operation in, I think it was like March, April times, 2018. Okay, so I basically had the procedure done. The procedure, I mean, as it got closer to the time that I had to have the surgery done, I kind of like, the vanity started to kick in. And I thought to myself, it wasn't even just about vanity. It was just about, how many times are you going to open me up? So I just was like, you know what? I'm going to put a silicone in. I'm going to put a silicone in straight away, because I know waiting a year would have probably been better because the skin would have healed a little bit better and so forth. But I was just like, I don't know if I could mentally not have anything there for a whole year. So I basically got them to do that. And
watching the movie, by the way.
I'm filming.
Oh wow. You're wearing some underwear.
So sorry, my kids. So basically, I literally had the silicone put in, and it was hard because when I had the surgery, I mean, it was different to the consultant that was telling me to, because I had two consultants. One was like, wait a year and let the skin heal, and then we'll do trap surgery. But the whole trap surgery thing, the reason why I didn't choose to do that one was because it made me look like it looked like I didn't like the outcome, what it would have looked like, because you could see like loads of stitching, and to be fair, I'm not really a big girl, so I don't really have enough skin to kind of have that sort of like surgery. So, and I just think I don't want to look like a corpse bride. So I kind of was just like, I just came up with like, I definitely want a silicone put in there. And my other consultant was like, he's like the younger one, so he's just like, oh, I can do it straight away, and I can, you know, it's gonna look amazing. And don't get me wrong, he's amazing, this guy. I mean, he done such a great job. So anyways, obviously they've got to take everything out, to make the removal and all that, take all the cancer out as much as they can and all that. And then but the only problem with my surgery is it became complicated because I lost a lot of blood, and I had to have a blood transfusion. So something that was maybe meant to be a day case, it became something that I was there for about a week. So I lost a lot of blood, and I had these things attached. I mean, I guess it's something that people that have boob jobs, you have like holes, and then you have like where it drains, and then you've got to carry these cylinders that collects all the blood, and then they've got to keep checking them to make sure whatever's coming out isn't infected and so forth. So it's like, imagine being attached to these things. It was just so random, and it was like, sometimes I had to put them in my bag and walk around with my bag like that, so people didn't know what was actually going on with me, with all these like pipes coming out, like tubes coming out of my skin and all that. So that was weird. So I had to do that for, I think, another 2 weeks or a week I had to do with that. But yeah, and then I lost a lot of blood, so I had to have a blood transfusion. And yeah, I stayed in there for a week. I was on a ward at first, and it was really nice because I met so many lovely people and so forth. They were so nice, like, you know, like my neighbours and so forth. And then my consultant was like, I'm gonna, like, I think he really wanted to monitor me and make sure that, you know, like, I was okay. So he put me like in a private room. So yeah, so I was put in the private room, and then I started to get a bit better and better and better. And then eventually I went home, but I still had these tubes, and it was just like, oh my God, like, because I didn't want to get them. I think what my fear was with these tubes was, like, I didn't want them to hook onto anything, because could you imagine? Oh my gosh, because they're actually attached inside. So, and then you have to go to the hospital to have them removed. Yeah, so, anyway, I was fine after that. And then I went back and had them removed. And then obviously you're like all bandaged up, so you don't get to see the work that your consultant's done for a while. And then eventually I went there. Now, my nipple had to be removed and everything. So it's like, when I looked in the mirror, I mean, don't get me wrong, I look like Barbie now, because, I mean, you know, Barbie doesn't have nipples, does she? So that I had to kind of look at it like that. But I mean, obviously my body has completely changed. It's different now. It's not me. And I did go and see a counsellor, because they did recommend me to go and see a counsellor. And I do remember saying to her, like, she was like, you know, it's tough, isn't it? And I was like, I just don't know who I am anymore. You know, I've lost, who am I? Because it's like, when I look in the mirror and I look at myself, don't get me wrong, these people are amazing. Technology, everything, the way medicine has developed and so forth, they've done an amazing job. But it's just, I'm like, who is this girl that I see in front of me? So I've had to kind of like begin to learn about myself, and it's not been easy, because it's like, I think what my fear is, it's just not being there for my children. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But then I try to make a negative turn into a positive and just be like, my kids are my heartbeat. My kids is what drives me to fight whatever doesn't serve me, They are the ones that inspire me. When I look every day, they are the ones that make me want to be a better person, make me want to soldier this issue, So, yeah. So, on my journey, so then basically I had to go and to balance it up, I had to get my other boob done. So, I was going on holiday in August, so I kind of arranged with them to do it, to get it done before then. And I got it done. And I mean, I always wanted a boob job because, after having 2 kids, or having kids, shall I say, your body does change dramatically. I mean, when I was in my young days, I didn't have to wear a bra. I could just like roll about like that. But, obviously having kids, gravity takes its way. And I always wanted to have a boob job. So, yeah, I was, really happy with how it balanced out and so forth. But, the circumstances isn't great. And I think for me, I feel like I had to have chemo. With the chemo, and then obviously you get leaflets in regards to that. And it's hard because, again, it's like, I've never had chemo. I've never really known anyone to have cancer. I mean, my grand had cancer, bowel cancer back in the day. But, I mean, I was so young, I didn't really understand, like, what exactly, and I didn't look in depth of it. But, yeah, so it's just reading the leaflets. But it's like, everybody's experience is different. But anyways, I went for my chemo. I would say it was one of the hardest times. Especially at the beginning, because I wasn't sure about the combinations of drugs that I was meant to be taking, like anti-sickness. There were so many different tablets to stop different things, like, I can't even remember anymore, but I remember the anti-sickness because on the first day I didn't take anti-sickness, and because I didn't take it, I was so sick. I mean, like, I was literally, I couldn't keep anything down, not even water. It was so bad. I literally felt like chemo made me feel, it made me feel like I was on a ship, and it was like I was in a storm. And like, because I get seasick anyways, so it made me feel like queasy, really, really queasy. And then it would be like, food would be prepared for me, and then I'd have like just one bit of something and I'd feel like really ill. It was just a horrible sort of like feeling. It wasn't nice at all. For the first couple of days I would feel really like not great, and then like, and I would have to be in bed, and then after that I would kind of like start to feel a little bit better. Your immune system would be quite low as well. I remember also I had to inject myself with a booster as well in my stomach. So it's literally, you would have to take a bit of a roll of your stomach and then literally stick this needle, like kind of like stab it in like that, like a pen. It would just go and then throw it. So I hate needles as well. So all of these things that I was thrown into, it was just so hard for me. And then there was the chemo. that they were injecting, because at first they had to start injecting it in, and it was like my because chemo, it's so strong that it starts to kind of make your veins become ropey and hard, and eventually your veins then pack in. So then they start to, I had to have this this PICC line here. When I went in for that, I remember it was like a little mini operation, but you awake. So she I think she kind of like numbed the area and gave me like what's that thing again? It's like it's not antibiotic. It's, what's that pain? What's that thing? Anyways, she numbed the area, and then she gave me an anesthetic. That's it, anesthetic. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the scar, but it was right here, and they kind of make like a hole, or should I say an incision, and then they put like this tube, and they've got to put, in fact, they've got to put the tube in your vein. So the tube goes into your vein, and then they keep pushing it in, and then they put like they call it like an earring, and then they clip it in, and then it's like from what I can remember, you have this tube and you've got to keep it in like that, and then you've got to wrap it over. That was hard, because when I had it, it was around summertime, and it's like when you're wearing little vest tops and so forth, and it's like I didn't want to go and pick my kids up from school, because you know what the mums are like, they ask so many questions and so forth. So I had to wear a cardigan or something to hide it, and it was really hot, you know, so it was like not easy to try and like cover that up. But yeah, it was just that was like really hard times, because in terms of, when I say hard times, it was like, because there was a lot of work with that, because I had to have a nurse come and like clean it every so often, and if they didn't clean it here, they would have to do it in the chemo suite. So yeah, I found that quite annoying, because it could get infected, and obviously you don't want to get infected, because then at the same time your immune system is very low, so it's very hard at fighting things like that. So anyway, I had that in for a while, and then eventually what I had to have was one of these. I don't know if you can see it actually. Can't really see it, but if you look properly, it's like there's like a little button, and like there's a tube that they put in. So they made that incision there, and then they put this, like, it's like a clip thing, and every time I go, so that travels to my vein, if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it in that light, but anyways, yeah, so every time I go to the, yeah, you can see it a little bit there. Yeah, so every time I go and have like some sort of treatment, they sort of like clip it inside there. The needle clips onto this bit here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so that, when they did that, oh my god, literally, again, it's another, as you can see the incision. I had to lie on the table, someone actually sticking something up there, and it was like he was really proper trying to get it in there, and I was bursting to go to the toilet, and I was like, please, how long are you going to take, and I mean, it did feel weird, and I could feel the pressure. It was just some of the stuff, like, I've never really had operations in my life. I've never really been to the hospital for anything. So all of this jazz was just, it was a lot, because it was just like one thing after another thing, after another thing, after another thing, after another. It's just like one after the other. It was just long. And then, I mean, but all for the, you know, for my highest good. The chemo again, it was hard. And then I also used the cold cap. Wow. That cold cap. I don't even know what to say about that, because it was like, I remember there was a time when my sister came with me, when I had to put that cold cap on. I mean, I didn't have to, but that was my choice, because I wanted to try and keep as much hair as I could. So when the first 20 minutes is very hard, because It's like it's freezing, it's freezing, it's freezing. And you know, like, you know when something's so cold, like when it gets to it gets to frosty temperatures, it becomes really, really painful, sharp, cutting, to be fair, like thorns. And then for your whole head to feel like that, I found it so, like, it's like if someone said something to you, you're going to bite their head off. So I remember there was a woman next to me having the same sort of thing, and this guy was like to my sister, here, come over here. And he goes, listen, when these lot are having their cold cap on for the first 20 minutes, you're best off going to get a sandwich or something, because it's not a good time. He goes, it's like, literally, you need to, because they'll bite your head off, literally. It's that painful. But I, you know, like, again, it's vanity, you know, I wanted to keep my hair. I did end up getting a bit of a bald patch here, so there was like a little circle. And I remember, you know, you have to put the conditioner in your hair before you put the cold cap on. And I remember my sister was helping me putting it, and then one of the nurses was like, oh, you've lost some hair here. And then my sister was like, oh, don't kind of like say that. And then she goes, you should tell your sister the truth, you know, you shouldn't lie to her. And I was like, yeah, what's going on with my hair? And she was like, I don't want you to get upset. And I was like, I ain't gonna get upset, because to be fair, I wear wigs anyways, it's not a big deal. And she was like, you have got a little bit of a patch. I was like, that's okay, you know, I'm okay with that, you know. And yeah, so the cold cap's not easy. Just trying to figure out what order it goes in. So after I finished my chemo, then I had to have radiotherapy. I think with radiotherapy, I didn't really quite understand it, because I went in for it and it was like I had to put my arms up in something like this, but lying down. And literally, so I put my arms up in something like this, and they've got these arm things that you can hold it in. And then you have to like be able to hold your breath for a certain amount of time. Now, obviously, because I just had my breast reconstructed, and obviously like the stretch on this side, because obviously they had to make a removal, and then I had a silicone put in. It was really hard to kind of be able to stretch my arms. So I had to do these kind of like exercises to kind of like, for the time when I do have the radio, you know, like when my course starts, that I'd be able to be prepared to be able to put my arms up like this. So so basically I did that, and then, you know, but when you get that laser in you, it's like you don't feel anything. So it's like I didn't really understand it, like in terms of like what exactly. It was just a phase where I don't understand radiotherapy. I know what it does and I understand the benefits of it, but because I didn't feel it, I can't explain exactly. It's horrible when you're doing something, and I understand it's beneficial, but it's horrible when you're doing something you don't understand what's exactly going on, because it was nothing that, you know, that I could actually feel personally. So and I mean, I don't want to be burnt, because I mean, it could have been something that burnt me, but you know, it's like I just didn't understand it. But I mean, I had a course of that. I mean, I think all of this is to prevent, you know, to protect the breast wall, because I believe they zapped where my breast wall was, where my breast wall is, sorry, to prevent it from like growing there. So yeah, so that got done. I think I had 17 rounds of that. Then after that, I then got put on tamoxifen, and I needed to take that every single day, which I did. And they did a scan on me like 6 months later, and I was cancer free. So I think that was July 2019, I think it was. And then I kind of like, it got to a point where when I got told I was cancer free, I was so excited and happy and just was like, had so much sort of like I got this sort of thing. And I think I got to a point where I didn't really want to listen or hear what they had to say to me. I didn't want to, I was actually afraid to go to scans because I didn't want to, I didn't really want to, I didn't want to hear, I didn't want anything to come back like negative, you know? I didn't want to hear anything negative. So I should have chased them up, you know, on scans and so forth. But I just kept on like winging it. And I do remember them saying you need to come into oncology, and, you know, and especially when COVID hit as well. So I did have a scan recently, and they did say that, I mean, after my operation, this is going back to when they removed the boob, they did say to me, it's horrible when this happens. They did say to me when I came out that there was a dot in my lung. And I was like, a dot? And then my breast team was like, well, we don't exactly know what that is, so it's not something that I would worry about now. So I was like, okay, because they was like, it's just a dot. But when I recently had my scan, they said that the cancer had spread to my lungs, and it has spread into my breastbone, which is my sternum area. So how do I feel about that? It's hard because it's like, it's not the news that I wanted to hear. They say it's incurable. I'm stage 4. You know, I feel like the first time I heard it, I was shocked. But I feel now like I just feel I'm a spiritual person. And I kind of like, I believe and I have faith, and I feel like being negative or taking information that someone has said to you, I just feel like I have so much respect and so much love for all the people that look after me, my oncologist, my breast surgeons, even just the nurses and everyone that works there. They have been so supportive and so helpful, and they've been great. But at the same time, I've got to do my journey myself, and I don't think that anyone can tell me or give me my last rights. I believe I'm the one that has the last say in terms of, like, the man upstairs, he decides when I go up there, right? So I'm just a soul having a human experience, yeah? So it's like, I used to be afraid. I used to be afraid to go, but I am just a soul having a human experience in the 3D world. The only thing that I feel that really has, like, burdens me is the fact that I have kids, and I feel like that's what plays on my mind all the time, and that's what's burdening for me, because I love those kids to the moon and back, and I wouldn't want them to be upset about anything, you know. So it's like, that part hurts me, and I obviously want to see them grow. I obviously want to see them get married. I want to go with them to pick their wedding dresses. I want to help plan their wedding. So yeah, that's hard to swallow. But at the same time, I believe that there's a holistic way as well. There's meditation, there's crystals, there's your belief. If you believe you're sick, then your body feels like it's sick. That's why every day I wake up, I make myself feel good. And how I make myself feel good is to look good. Because if I look good, I feel good. You know, I try to eat healthy. I try to laugh a lot. I try to be happy all the time, you know. And I try to enjoy my life as much as I can, you know. I feel like, forget about me even just being ill. It's like, I'm not even ill. Like, that's not, I won't even say that. But I want to enjoy every day like it's my last day. And I think everyone should be doing that anyways. Because it's like, people take life for granted, especially with times with what's going on now. It's like, people are now starting to realise, actually, there's more to life than, you know, how really taken advantage of it before, you know. But now we've really had the time to really sit down and think about, you know, the small things are, you know, important. You know, like the air, you know, the nature, Mother Nature, the things that the world, you know, the world is doing, you know. Being able to wake up and see your children every morning, you know, and watching them grow up and the little jokes that they come out with and their crazy little sense of humours, you know, is beautiful. And like being able to go into a car and, you know, be able to get from A to B. I appreciate everything. I have so much gratitude. And I just believe, like, you know what? You can't live life in fear, and I won't live in fear. I will not let this thing make me live in fear. You know? And for anyone out there that has cancer, don't think of it as, oh, this is my last, this is, you know, this is it. No, you can do more. Do anything that makes you happy. I've started to paint. I've always been able to, like, art's one of my you know, one of my things, but I hadn't, you know, my life is always so busy that I never ever used to get round to painting, but I've been able to do that. And I've realised, actually, it's such a lovely thing to be able to do. It's so therapeutic, you know. I just want people to kind of like, don't give up. Don't start like signing your body off just because you've been told some information. You know, live your life like it's the, you know, live every day like it's your last day. Everyone should be doing that. And thank whatever you believe in. Thank whatever you believe in for, you know, the fact that you are able to have this human experience. You're here to learn something. You're here to show the world you know, and that's what I intend to do. And I intend to help as many people with this ailment as possible. That's what I would love to do. And, you know, I'm going to do it from my angle. Like, I like to look good. So I feel like, because I feel if you like to look good, you feel good. And if I can try and help others to do that, I've done my part. Crystals, I've got crystals. Crystals have got so much healing in it that people need to recognize about crystals. You need to have belief. I read books. Joe Dispenza. Living in not the moment, living as if it's already happened, you know? So that's something I can talk about on another day. I want to go through crystals I want to go through like the holistical, spiritual way as well. Meditation. It's such beautiful things out there for you to be able to get in touch with your soul, you know? Feed your soul, your mind. Your mind is what governs your body. Yeah, you can tell your mind what it needs to do. I just want to thank you all for listening. And if anyone has any stories or anything in regards to my story, please leave comments in the comment box below. And if you're new on here, please subscribe. I go through many topics, and yeah, thank you for listening, guys. I hope you have had a great Christmas, and I hope that we have the greatest year, because you know what, guys, what goes down has to come up at some point. So don't always think it's going to be like this. We're going to get out of this. Yeah, it's not always going to be like this. I just think that the universe has made this happen to a degree, in terms of maybe we needed to take this time out to actually look at life at another angle and realize, you know what, there's more to life than having to live in this whole rat race that we're living in. You know, there's more to it, because I'm sure that people have organized their houses. I'm sure that people have learnt more about themselves. I'm sure people's creativity has come out even more. So that I love all of that, you know. And people have been able to spend more time with their families, you know. There's more to life than just working all the time. So that's also a nice thing to be able to do. So thank you guys for watching once again. I appreciate all of you.